The Bible's 3,000 years old. The gravitation book is 25 years old. The gravitation book is out of date. It's obsolete.
I use four-letter words exquisitely, delightfully, deliberately, and abundantly whenever they need to be used, and I very rarely scatter these pearls before swine. That was low, wasn't it?
Yes, that's a sneaky one.
That was a sneaky one. And the word atheist, which is a negative word, means simply free from theism. And we say to the theists in the community, all right, if you want to believe in God, that's your business. If you want to pray, that's your business. You take your marbles and go over there in the corner of your private life and you play your game.
A couple of years ago, I was asked to do a Bible study group. I'm thinking Catholics don't do Bible studies, you know. And to do a Bible study group in Houston. Catholics definitely don't do Bible studies in Texas. To do a Bible study group in Houston with a bunch of astronauts. Astronauts, oh, I could do that, yeah.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon.
A milestone in a national journey spurred on by America's first Catholic president.
I'll start off by reminding you that the Big Bang Theory was devised by a Catholic priest, Georges Lemaitre, and it was opposed by a lot of astronomers in his day because they thought it was too close to the idea of creation.
Where it says the world is flat and it's covered with a dome and there's water above and below the dome, you know.
Ready, set, go.
And Madalyn Murray O'Hair, an atheist, threatened to sue NASA, and NASA caved, and after that said, any spiritual acknowledgments, ask for radio silence.
Mrs. O'Hair is the self-admitted atheist who brought about the U.S. Supreme Court ban on prayers in public schools in 1963. And would you welcome her, please, Madalyn Murray O'Hair.
You know, we just went into court in the Federal District Court in Austin, Texas, demanding that the astronauts do not proceed to attempt to fly missions as missionaries in outer space and to read the Bible and to recite prayers.
I've got two really thick books on my shelf back in Castor Gandolfo. One of them is a Bible, and the other is a book by Misner, Thorne, and Wheeler called Gravitation. And this is, about that thick, and it's all about the Einstein's general theory of relativity.
They said as that spaceship swung around the dark side of the moon and started to come back towards the Earth, the astronauts were overwhelmed by a spontaneous manifestation of religious awe, at which time they started to recite the Genesis.
And God called the dry land Earth. God saw that it was good.
Newton's equation for the fall of a rock due to the laws of gravity is a poem. It says the path of this falling rock is like the solution to this equation. It's not that they're the same thing.
I have since found out that this whole thing was carefully pre-planned, something like 2.5 months in advance in Washington, D.C., the code name given to it was Experiment P. And the astronauts were told to have this spontaneous feeling of religious awe. At 7:31 p.m. plus 10 seconds, and it was printed onto the flight plan.
Science books go obsolete. They're supposed to. 1,000 years from now, our science, our understanding of evolution, our understanding of the solar system, our understanding of the Big Bang is going to be completely different than what it is now. I hope.
And then those dumb bastards read from Genesis, which is part of the Torah, which is the Jewish book, and instead of saying Happy Hanukkah, kids, they said Merry Christmas. I mean, how dumb can you get? They should have been reading from the New Testament if they were going to do that, because after all, the Jews are still waiting for the Messiah. and they were celebrating Hanukkah.
And I'm thinking, you know, have you actually read Genesis? Where it says the world is flat and it's covered with a dome and there's water above and below the dome, you know. Where does the shuttle go? How come you don't get wet?
If you know about Mrs. O'Hare, she is a famous, and some people say infamous woman.
Of science. Genesis is a book about God.
This gets back again to the obscenity thing. I want freedom from religion. If I want to go into the bathroom and urinate, I want to go in there and do what I want to do and not have to call this by another name.
What a sad way to live, but you just heard it from Satan.
Thanks a lot for searching that out, man. Appreciate that. Fisherman in the box. Fisherman in a box.
You're in a religion where you think you're on a ball flying around the sun.
Huh?
And if anybody wants to come and beat me up, by God, come on out.